Well, good morning, everyone. I have a question for you. Can you solve this in 20 seconds? Seems like we're getting a little bit faster. So take a look, see if you can solve this in 20 seconds. Now, when you get your answer, hold that answer until the time expires. Because I know for some of you guys, pretty quick, which is cool. So I want to know, can you simplify this really in less than 20 seconds? You got one and done. Let's go. Go ahead, put your answers up. Let me see what you guys got before I add my little 2 cents in there. So see what you can get. Do-do-do. So good morning. For those that don't know, my name is Audrey Codner, and I am the owner of Math by Audrey. I'm an online math tutor for the last 7 years, but I was a classroom teacher for 22 years. Yeah, your girl was in the trenches. So what I do here is I show you how I break down math concepts, especially for those that are like 25 years old and plus, that are thinking about going back to school or trying to get their results of the ASVAT to increase that score. Or maybe you're trying to get your GED or your ASVAT, the Accuplacer, the TEAS test, the HESI test, maybe even the SAT and the ACT, because we have to build up our basic necessities before you can pass that exam. All right? So Amy, I see you. Thank you so much for your answer. And if you're not sure where to start, you can also put a question mark. So let's take a look. So that means anytime I see an expression, okay, there is no equal signs. That is an expression. And they tell us to simplify, we're going to be using, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, from left to right. Okay? That's the part that gets a lot of people. Everyone keeps thinking, oh, I gotta multiply, then I gotta divide. No, it's multiplication or division depending how you read it from left to right. The same thing with the addition and the subtraction. So if we take a look inside the parentheses, we have 10 minus 4. Well, 10 minus 4, that gives us 6. And that's going to be squared. Okay, our denominator, we have 2 plus 7 raised to the 0 power. So that means we're going to be looking at our exponents next. This is the next thing that a lot of people usually get wrong. Anything raised to the 0 power is not 0. It's 1. Okay, I always go, but so your exponent, anytime you have to the 0 power, is equivalent to 1. And then 6 to the 2nd power is not 12. You're not multiplying the 6 and the 2. They're not even the same size. So you're basically saying, I want us to multiply this base of 6 to itself twice. So that means this is really saying 6 times 6, and 6 times 6 gives us 36. And then 7 to the 0 power, that's going to be 1, and 1 plus 2 will give me 3. So 36 divided by 3, how many 3's can go into 3? 1. How many groups of 3 can go into 6? 2. So we have our answer simplified as 12. Okay? All right? So we have to do what's inside the parentheses first. Okay, then we're going to use the exponents. Then in this denominator, we can combine. Okay, so anything raised to the 0 power, that's equivalent to 1. So then 2 plus 1 gives us 3. That's how we got our denominator. And then we're going to divide the 36, which came from the 6 squared. And 6 squared is the same as 6 times 6. Okay? Then subtract it. What's happening? Miss Wessel, what are we doing? At 28 because I multiply each number by the exponent. Oh, okay. Alright, so Hatfield, do you see what happened here? Alright, okay. Step by step. Alright, so let's take a look at this one. Let's see, we've got 20 seconds for this one. Oh, sorry about the glare. Okay. Alright, Oren, good job with that last one. Yep, anything raised to 0 power is equivalent to 1. Yep. Alright. Hey, Hunter, how are you? Okay. Yep. Alright, Goat. That's what we're doing. Alright, so let's go. What do we have for answers? Okay, Hetfield, I see you. Nelly, I see you. Okay. Vegas, thank you for the follow. Alright. Is that Denasia? I see you. Okay. Yeah, it got a little crazy with things. Alright, Bills, I see you. Frayne, I see you. MC, I see you. Okay. You're getting a simplified answer. There you go, Goat. There we go. Alright, F, I see you. F is not sure. Okay, I got you. Thank you for your honesty. Alright, so what we're looking at. Oh, there we go. So, again, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Don't forget from left to right. Now, if you're my international student and you're doing BODMAS, like BODMAS, you can do that as well. So, we don't have any parentheses, so boom, we're done with that. But we do have some exponents. So 4 squared. 4 squared is 4 times 4, which gives us 16. Bring down the plus 10, minus 2 cubed. Now 2 cubed is not 6. We're basically saying that we have a base of 2 multiplied to itself 3 times. So 2 times 2 gives me 4, and 4 times 2 gives me 8. Alright, so now that's done. We don't have any multiplication or division, so we don't have to worry about that, but we do have addition or subtraction, and we have to go from left to right. So that means we're going to first attack this 16 plus 10. That gives us our 26. Then we have our 26, bring down the minus 8, so that will give us our 18. Okay, not 16, not 12, but 18. Okay, all right, hurry. I don't hurry on this app. Okay, if you're new to me, I break things down step by step. Okay, I would love to give shortcuts, but I don't give shortcuts. Okay, all right, so you were born bad? Okay. Okay, you're so welcome. So again, if this is going way too slow for you, this is not the place for you. Alright, so let's go step by step. So, let's give this one a try. Okay, let's give this one a try. Okay, yes, there's a lot of us. Oh, bad. Okay, got you. Alright. Okay. So, Victor, life is not mentioned. I can probably die tonight. No one will know. So, value the time. Learn from yourself. As the old saying is, instead of giving you a fish sandwich, I'm going to teach you how to fish so you can go after your own trout. Okay? So, I see Jay, I see, hey Janice, how are you? Saw your video, hilarious. I see Oz, I see Club, I see, different symbol, okay. I see Caleb. I see that. Alright. Alright. So I see C. Okay. Bacon, I see you. Nia, I see you. Naz, I see you. One legit, I see you. Guess. I see you. Hatfield, I see you. Yeah, I don't know what that symbol is. It looks like a T. Okay. So, let's take a look. So this is called function notation. And if you notice, the f of 3, the 3 is in the same position as the x. So that means wherever I see an x in this expression here, I'm plugging in a 3. Okay? So if we have our f of 3, this is just a reminder of what you substitute in for. So we're getting rid of the x, and we are replacing it with this 3. So 3 squared is 3 times 3. And 3 times 3 gives us 9. Bringing down the plus 2. Then we have 9 plus 2. That will give us our 11. So that means the f of 3 is going to equal 11. Basically what you're doing is you're finding a point that will satisfy this expression. That's what you're doing. Okay? So you just found an ordered pair of 3, 11. Alright? Not a problem, Rachel. Here we go. Yes, it does. Okay, with the function notation, yes, you will actually see it in the exams. Okay, take it all in. So, now, I would love for you guys to translate this. Translate this expression, so I'm not going to put too much of a timer, but translate this into an algebraic expression. Yep, school is definitely starting soon, yep. Okay, what grade is this for middle school? Well, this is like algebra. So it's algebra, a little mixture of algebra 1. So it's really like a review to help you guys with the GED, the ASVAT, the Accuplacer, or just algebra in general. Okay. Okay, can I show the question before? What do you mean? This? Hey, Angel. Womp womp. Alright, go ahead. Show me your answers, guys. This is what we had before. Alright. Okay. Good. Alright, so I say Eos, Princess. I see Bacon. Okay, we don't have to write it as a function. I see Dom. Hey, Dom, welcome back. I see Zoe. I see the purple thing. I see Chicken Alfredo. Alright. It's been a while, I know, right? Art by Mimi, welcome back. I see you. Okay, JB, I see you. Hatfield, I see you. Okay, let's take a look. Odin, I see you. Sister from another mister, I see you. How'd you find it? I'm going to show you. Alright, so let's take a look. Words have certain operations. So we're talking the product of a number. Anytime they say the product of, the difference of, the sum of, okay, they're talking about you're dealing with two numbers. But product means multiplication. So we are multiplying two numbers. The first one is a number. We don't know what that number is. So since we don't know what that number is, we're going to use x. Okay? So we're doing the product of a number and 6. So that's the first part. So if we're going to do multiplying a number and 6, we can also call that 6x. Then they have this additional part, which says increased by. Increased by, if you're increasing something, you're adding something. You're making something larger. So that's going to be addition. So increase by what? Increase by 14. So this how you have the product of a number and 6, so that's the first part. That's where the 6x came from. Increase by, that means addition. So that would be plus 14. Okay, all right. So how else would you write that? Hey Mel, how are you? Okay, you already started school? Cool. Now I want to do an extension on that. So if anything, we're going to do a choice of 3 cards. Because for some reason, 4 cards throws people off. So I have 3 cards here, 3 card extensions. Do you want card number 1, number 2, or number 3? Okay. All right. 1, 2, or 3. Okay, so I got someone with a 2. Okay, several 2s. Go 3 random 2s. 2s. We got 3 2s. We have a 1, 2. Let me see. Yep, awesome. 2 was the winner. All right, so let's take a look. Let's see what our extension is. So this is what we're going to put on this side. And it says, is equal to the difference of the number and 1. Is equal to the difference of the number and 1. How would I write that? How would I go from a verbal to an algebraic expression? What would I write? And if you're not sure, put a question mark, and I'm going to break it down anyway. Okay? Question mark, and I'm going to break it down anyway. Okay? All right. So art by Mimi, I see you. KP, thank you for your honesty and welcome back. Okay, secure angle, I see you. Mel, I see you. Rachel, thank you for your honesty. Okay, Clement, I see you. Victoria, I see you. Thank you so much for your honesty. Hatfield, thank you. Okay, my purple mouse, I think. Thank you. Okay, Tori Tars, thank you. I see you as well. Okay, One Nads, I see you. The names. Okay, Zoe, I see you. Thank you. All right. So let's take a look. Kimberly, thank you for your honesty. Okay, now the ones that put question marks, I'm glad that you did because you took the courage to do that. I know there's a lot of us here, and trust me, a lot of people are probably thinking the same thing. Okay, is this good for the ASVAT? Yep. You have nothing but word problems, especially for the arithmetic reasoning. So, is equal to. So, is equal to, that means we're dealing with an equation. We're going to equal. Now, equal to what? The difference. So, difference is an operation. Difference is going to be subtraction. Right? Difference of what? Difference of the number and 1. So, we are subtracting 2 things. And the 2 things is the number that we have here, which is x, and 1. Okay, so the difference is going to equal subtraction. Exactly. So if you're taking any of these exams, this is what, and especially if you're not from the States, translating into English is going to be major. You know how they do it and why they do it? To split the haves and the have-nots. Okay, so if you don't understand the English language, that's one way that they do that. You know how they do it and why they do it? To split the haves and the have-nots. Okay, so if you don't understand the English language, that's one way that they do that. Okay, got a blank screen for a second. Hopefully everybody's back. Okay, so now we have our equation. Yay! Let's solve this bad boy. Okay, this is the part that usually gets a lot of people, because you have a variable on both sides of the equal sign. Our goal is to get the x, all the x's on one side and all the constants on the other side, because our goal is to get x by itself. So, what do you think will be my first move? What should I do first to solve this? Okay, what should I do? What should I do first to solve this? Okay. Okay, Hatfield is talking about we can subtract the 4. Okay. Okay, Hatfield is talking about we can subtract the 14. Okay. Or you can add the 1. Okay. All right. We can get the x's on the same side. Okay. So let me do this multiple ways. So let me say the first way, let me just do with subtracting the 14. So that means I want all my constants on the right-hand side of the equal sign. So since it's a positive 14, we have to do the inverse, which is minus 14. And as you get more advanced, eventually you're going to do all your movement on one line. But I'm going to take it step by step. So, plus 14 minus 14 gives me a 0. And I don't need that 0 as a placeholder because I still have the 6x that I can bring down. And then negative 1 plus negative 14, that gives me a negative 15. Did you hear how I said that? Negative 1 plus negative 14 gives me a negative 15. This is the other part that really screws a lot of people up, because you're thinking, all right, that's a minus sign. It was a minus sign when we were setting it up, but now that you're combining it with that negative 14 or that minus 14 that we just did, that means this minus sign is now a negative to that 1. And this minus sign, or the subtraction, is now a negative to that 14. Okay? So now we want to move our x. This is another part that gets a lot of people. This minus sign is acting as a negative for the 15, not the x. Okay? So that means this is a positive x. So I'm going to subtract x on both sides. Again, these are going to give me 0, not 0x, 0. Okay, everything is gone. So the only thing that comes down is my negative 15. Do not forget to bring that negative down with the 15. And now 6x minus 1x gives me a positive 5x. All right, not a problem. So when we get here, we have 5 times x. When you don't see a plus or a minus sign in between the number and the variable, this is multiplication. The inverse of multiplication is division, inverse or opposite. So we're going to divide both sides by the 5. So 5 divided by 5 gives me 1x, or just x. 1x and x is the same thing, so you don't have to divide both sides by negative 1. Save yourself some time. So negative 15 divided by 5. Here's another part. A lot of people will say it's 3. Well, that's partially true. We want full credit. When the signs are opposite, one's negative and one's positive, your answer will always be negative. Okay? So your answer is going to equal x equals negative 3. Okay. All right. So taking it step by step so we can narrow it down. Now, if you subtracted the x on both sides, you'll get the same answer. Watch. So if you had your, I'm going to squeeze it in here. So 6x plus 14 equals x minus 1. If I subtracted the x on both sides, then I would get 5x plus 14 is equal to negative 1. Then I will subtract 14 on both sides. Then I would get 5x is equal to negative 15. Divide both sides by 5. And x will equal negative 3. Okay? So It doesn't matter where you start as long as you start. So don't take so much time like, oh, what should I do? The goal is to get all your x's on one side of the equal sign and to solve for x. That's basically what we're doing, okay? How did I get the 5x? 6 plus a negative 1. So if I had $6 and I spent the dollar, that means I have $5 left. Okay? All right? So we're doing these things step by step. Yep, we're going to have another question, Emma. It's going to work. All right? So again, this is for people that haven't been in school for a while, that just needs a little extra help. Okay? Translate this as an expression. Okay? So if it is going a little too slow, hey, thank you so much for coming in, but this is the speed that it's going. There's plenty other presenters and influencers and everyone else, but this is part of the problem. You're trying to speed up with social means like you're an AI. You're a human being. You need time for it to process and for it to marinate. Okay? All right. So Clement, I see you. KP, I see you. Jay, I see you. Hatfield, I see you. Art by Mimi. Be careful, because that's 11, not 8. Okay, Zoe, I see you. Benzie, I see you. Hunter, I see you. Okay, here we go. Art by Mimi. Thank you, my dear. I know. Kiki, I see you. Kimberly, I see you. Good morning, Bree. How are you? All right. Di, I see you. But there's something that's a little bit twisted. But once you see it, you're going to get it. Okay? Rachel, good. I see you. Luna, I see you. Okay, Black Pearl, how are you doing? Welcome back. All right. So, 11 decrease, not awake yet. That's our, hey, I feel you. 11 decreased by a number. So, we are not switching anything around. Decrease by is the opposite of increase. So, if you're decreasing, you're subtracting. And what are we subtracting? 11 and the number. Okay? So we have 11, then you have minus your number, which your number could be any letter of the alphabet. It could be X, it could be N, it could be O, it could P, except for E and I. Okay? E and I are actually numbers. So now we're going over to our little handy dandy things. Let's see. We got 3 choices. All right, do you want 1? So this is 1, 2, or 3. Okay, let's see what we got. 1, 2, or 3. We don't have to switch it, Mel. Okay. All right, so I got a couple 1s, got more 1s, couple 2s, couple 3s. Oh, got more 1s. All right, right now we got a tie with 1 and 3. Okay, 2's starting to come up there. Oh, 3's coming up. Oh, we got 1. All right. We have our 3's, we got 1s, we got 3's. Oh, 3's are climbing. All right, 3's are climbing. Those are the next 2. Just need 2 more. Let's see if it's 1s or 3's. Oh, hi, who's going to break it? Is it going to be 1s or 3's? Oh, Austin did it. So we got for number 3. Let's see what we got. So we're going to extend this. Is at least 15. Is at least 15. Okay, Clement and Rachel, thank you so much. Is at least 15. What does that mean? How can I translate that into verbiage? Okay. Hi, I see you. Thank you, KP. Thank you for your honesty. Yep, still see hi. All right. Black Pearl, close. Something's missing. Okay. Against the odds, greater than, close. Against the odds, close. Jay, I see you. Okay. Art by Mimi, I see you, and I'm glad that you did it that way. Okay. All right. 1 nads. It's not going to be equals because it's saying at least. Okay, Zoe, thank you for your honesty. Kimberly, thank you for your honesty. Okay, not English. But, Will, they're in word problems. So if you can translate these, you can translate word problems. I don't want word problems to be the thing that stops you from achieving the goal that you want to achieve. You have to think beyond it. Okay, we can count against it, but it's not going to help you. It's going to keep you in that bubble. I want you to break that bubble. I want you to be successful, and I want you to glow up. Okay, we got this. All right, don't let all this stuff fool you. Let's just get through the bull so we can get through the money. All right? All right, good. Clement, I see you. Black Pearl, I see you. Modo, I see something. But let's take a look. Oh, I see what you're saying. Now, is at least. Think about it. So I want to make at least, $100, I don't know, for a session. I'm just throwing that out there. So if I'm saying I want to make at least $100 a day, there we go. That means the 100 is the lowest that I want to be able to make that day. I want to be able to make more than 100. So that's why when we do this, it's going to be greater than or equal to. Okay, that's how you say it. Not greater than and equal. No, you're greater than or equal to. And greater than or equal to what? 15. Okay, so I'm practicing bringing out how they write out numbers. Because some tests will give it to you verbally, some tests will just give it to you numerically. Okay, so that's why I try to do it both ways. So this is going to be our inequality. Now, let's see if we can solve this bad boy. What are we going to do first? So when you see at least or great or at most, think the opposite. At least is going to be greater than or equal to. At most is going to be less than or equal to. And they use that a lot, especially for system of equations or system of inequalities problems. Okay, good. All right, so now, yes, good. Thank you against the odds. So we are going to not add the 11. What are we going to do? Okay, Zabin, I see you. Or Zabin, I see you. We're going to subtract the 11 because this minus sign is attached to the x. Okay, that minus sign is attached to that x, not to the 11. The signage always goes to the left. So since it is a positive 11, we do the inverse, which is minus 11. So this is going to be a two-step equation. My 11s are going to cancel out to give me 0, but I don't need that 0 because I still have my negative x to bring down. Do you hear how I said that? I didn't say minus, I said negative. Because now that we're into solving mode, you went from subtracting to now being a negative formation. Now 15 minus 11, that gives us 4. All right. So this is what we're going to do. Good, Jay. I see you. All right. So now we have this negative x. If you don't see a number, it's assumed to be a 1. Because we physically have 1x right there. So we actually have a negative 1. So this time we definitely need to get rid of it by dividing. Because negative 1x is the same as saying negative 1 times x. You see why once you get into algebra you can't use x as a multiplication symbol? Okay, we can't use x. We shouldn't be teaching x as multiplying anymore. It should be a dot or parentheses. So now you divide both sides by negative 1. We get our x, because these two cancel. A negative divided by a negative gives me a positive. And then we have 4 divided by negative 1. That gives me negative 4. This is the part. Thank you, Hunter. Okay? This is the part that gets a lot of other people. Other than not adding 11 on both sides. But this is the other part, okay? Austin's saying we need to flip, okay? Clement is saying it has to be less than or equal to. We divide by the -1, what Art Mimi says. We got to flip the sign. Now here's my question to you guys. Why? Why do we have to flip the sign? It's great that people are saying, flip the sign, flip the sign, flip the sign. But why? What was the trigger? Okay? Because it's negative. Not necessarily because it's negative. I'm going to prove that to you in a second. Why do we have to flip the sign? Okay? My darkened person, which I don't see a name, my no name says, because you divided by a negative. Because you divided by a negative. Clement confirms that. Art by Mimi, because when we divide, because you divided by a negative. Because you divided by a negative. Clement confirms that. Art by Mimi, because when we divide by a negative number. Okay? Divided by a negative. Zoe, good. That's the key, guys. In order for you to do shortcuts, you have to know the reason why. So here, we divided by a negative number. Anytime you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to change the direction of the inequality. So now, it's not going to be greater than or equal to. Now it's less than or equal to. Okay? The reason why, I forgot who it was, I think it was Austin. The reason why I don't want to say because it was negative, because what happens if I had, like, say, 3x is less than or equal to -6? Okay? I would divide both sides by 3, and then I have my x, and then I have a -2. This will still be less than or equal to. The reason why we divided by a positive number. Just because we got a negative result doesn't mean that you're going to change the inequality. Okay? So you only change it when you multiply or divide by a negative number. Okay? Yeah, so that's what we're going to have to do. So if you're dividing it by a positive number, it does not change direction. It only changes when you're dividing by a negative number. Okay? Awesome. All right? So learning that, knowing that the inequality sign is going to change, if I give you, and this is my last one, I'm going to go to the next one. So if I give you this -2x plus 4 is greater than 12. I don't know. Once I see this that's attached to the x is negative, that's telling me this bad boy is going to flip. If my leading coefficient, the number that's adjacent or next to the x, if that bad boy is negative, that means we're going to be doing some flipping. Didn't that happen here with the -x? And we end up flipping? Okay? So keep that in mind. Still work through the problem. It's not the result. It's what you're going to have to do when it's adjacent to that x. Fine. Still work through the problem. It's not the result. It's what you're going to have to do when it's adjacent to that x. Okay? So these are the little things to keep in mind. Like I said, it doesn't make sense for me to throw, hey, here's a shortcut. And you don't understand why that is a shortcut. Alright? Give this one a try. So it needs to be flipped. Thank you. Is that yes? The shine? Thank you. Alright. Give this a try. Okay? So as you guys are working on it, just try it. If you get the answer, awesome. If you're not sure where to start, trust me, put a question mark in the chat. Okay? I'm not looking right now as you're learning, as you're processing, it's not about speed. Okay? You didn't come shooting out the vagina when you were born. No. It was a whole process. It was a whole cooking. You know, Mitosis. Lots of division of cells. Right? And it took some time. And then all of a sudden, there you go. I know, the analogies I come up with sometimes, it scares me sometimes. I know, right? I was like, what? Right? So you've got to take your time. So if you feel that, oh my gosh, this is crazy, that's why I like to take my time while you're learning it. You need for your steaks to marinate. Okay, if not, it's going to be tough and hard, and then you're going to be like, this is ridiculous. Why am I chewing sawdust? Okay? Now, let's see what we got for some answers. Okay, Tracy, I think I see you. Clement. Take another look, Clement, especially that first part. Okay. Okay, Labnar, I see you. Thank you for the follow. Zoe, thank you for your honesty. I got you. Okay, and I know there's going to be more, but I got you. Okay, RN, I see you. Mel, I see you. Okay, Art by Mimi, I see you. Okay, yes, and question mark. I see you to a point. Okay. Oh, well, thank you, Jay. I think it's a little sloppy right now, but I appreciate you. Okay. Victory, I see you. RN, I see you. Okay, thank you, Clement. I appreciate you. All right, so let's take a gander. Makai, I see you. And if I'm ever butchering your names, please correct me, because there's a lot of power in your name. Okay, you were chosen that name. All right, you were actually. Okay, Sophie, I see you. No one, I see you. Jabbar. Okay, I see you, and yes, I see you. All right. So right now, everything inside the parenthesis. A lot of people will say, "Oh, we're doing PEMDAS." Yes and no. But we're really going to be working on the properties of exponents. So inside this parenthesis, this is basically multiplication going on in here. There's no plus and minus signs going on. So we have everything in this parenthesis being raised to the third power. So let's take a look. I like to separate everything until I get used to it. So what I'm saying is I'm going to take this 3 and I'm going to raise that to the third power. I'm going to take the x to the 4th and I'm going to raise that to the third power. And then I'm going to take my y and I'm going to raise that to the third power. So I'm giving each of these terms or elements and I'm going to raise it to the third power. So now 3 to the third power, and I saw this in a couple of answers. This doesn't mean 3 times 3. Notice the exponent is a little smaller than the base, but it has so much power. This is saying I'm going to take my base of 3 and I'm going to multiply it to itself 3 times. So then you have 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. Okay, let's get that part because a lot of people usually lose that part. Okay, yep, you can put a 1 in front, that's fine. But here's the same thing that's happening. This is saying I'm going to take x to the 4th and I'm multiplying that to itself 3 times. You're doing the exact same thing. But here's the key. When you have the properties of when you're multiplying, you are adding the exponents. Because it's almost like saying there's 4 4s here, there's 4 4s there, there's 4 4s there. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 will give you 12. So you keep that base of x and you write your 12. So this is the extended form. But here's your shortcut. Your product, your power to power rule. When you have an exponent, parenthesis, that means it's being raised to an exponent, you can multiply them. So 4 times 3 will give me 12. So instead of you writing it out and then adding the exponents, you can simply multiply the exponents. So that's how you get your 12. Exponents, you can simply multiply the exponents. So that's how you get your 12. Now for this y to the third power, if you don't see an exponent like someone mentioned, I'll find out in a moment, you could put a 1. If you don't see an exponent, it's always assumed that there is a 1 there. So we could write the y's out. Let me slide this over a bit. It's running out of space. So we can write that y out 3 times. Ooh, started to look like a J. So that means we have y to the third. Or you can just multiply 1 times 3, which gives you 3. So our answer here should be 27 x to the 12th, y to the third. Okay? Okay? All right, so you could write it out as this long, as we call it, the extended form, or you understand the rules of the properties of exponents. Okay, so do you have to do this every time? No. If you feel comfortable knowing that 3 to the third power is 27, keep rolling with that feeling, baby. Rolling with the feeling, right? Okay, if you understand that an exponent being raised to an exponent, you multiply the exponents, awesome. You don't have to do all this. I do it so people know where it's coming from. So when you finally see it on a test and you've gone through the whole instruction of it, it doesn't seem so foreign. All right? Okay? All right, let's take this down. All right, so let's advance it up. The sun is trying to climb through. Factor this. Factor this. Because you know when you get on the test, it's never just one concept at a time. It's always several. Okay? Can I do a 7th grade problem? I just did. Okay. Alright. So we're breaking down concepts, especially for adults that are thinking about going back to school, they're trying to pass their TEAS test, they're trying to pass the ASVAT, you know, want to get a little bit more than above a 31, or just get anything just so they can get in, get their benefits, start helping not only themselves, but their families. Let's open up some lives here, okay? All right, so I see that. Okay, Mel, I see you. Okay. GH, hey, welcome back, GH. I see you. KP, I see you. Footbox or Fubuk, I see you. There's some other people here. Lucky Wife, I see you. But make sure you're not just giving me, well, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Okay, Clement, I see you. All right. Art by Mimi, I see you. Good. All right. So, I have one person with a question mark, and I know there's more. So, factoring is basically doing the distributive property in reverse. So we are looking at 2 factors. This is telling me how many parentheses I'm making because I am creating 2 results. So these are my 2 factors. Since my leading coefficient is 1, I can just go ahead and split my variables into each parenthesis. So I have my x here and my x here. Now this is the toughest part, especially if multiplication is not really solidified in your life, okay? At least up to the 12s. So we're thinking of 2 numbers that multiply to give me a negative 21 and add together to give me a negative 4. So what two numbers multiplied together will give me a negative 21 and add together to give me a negative 4? So to keep track, a lot of people will say, all right, here's my negative 21 is here, and here's my negative 4. Some people like to do a cross. Some people like to do a table. Do whatever you love to do. Okay? So now, what two numbers multiplied to give me 21? So I got a 7 and a 3. Okay? Because the only other factors that 21 has is 1 and 21, and that's not going to help us. So now we have to figure out which one is going to take on the negative. So if I add, say, if I put it as a negative 3, that means 7 plus a negative 3, that's going to give me a positive 4. I'm looking for a negative 4. So that's why we have a negative 7 and a positive 3. Oh, they did allow the calculator for you? Are you in Maryland? Audrey? Well, I'm so glad that you passed the Accuplacer. Sorry. Let's talk about that first. Alright. Okay. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Share some love. New Mexico. That's why. Yeah, Maryland, they're not giving you a calculator. Nope. Gotta go in there raw dogging. I know it's crazy. Alright, congratulations. Oh, can we give Magic a little love? Sorry. I'm going to pin your comment. Look at you getting pinned. Share a little love to her because trust me, I know it's not easy. 1, taking the class. 2, sitting down and studying. 3, just to pass it. No remedial classes for her. She's going straight to college algebra. Let's go. Take that one class, pass that bad boy, and move on to whatever you want to achieve. Alright, so now, since we found our factors, you just plug them in. So that means this is going to be a negative 7, and this is going to be a positive 3. Now, if you put x plus 3 over here, and then x minus 7 over there, that's fine, because with multiplication, it has what's called a commutative property. Okay, so that means it's basically the same thing either way. Alright, just like if I said 7 times 3 or 3 times 7, I still get the same result. Alright, okay, so that's factoring. How you doing? Let's try another translation. Ooh, time just flies, don't it? Like 1 minute, we're just sitting here just chilling. Alright, try this one. One of these days, I'll be able to afford a light. Okay. Okay. Just keeping your mind sharp. Alright, Clement, I like that. Okay, so the quotient of a number and 25. Okay, you can just put your answers in, and if you're not sure, go ahead and put the question mark in. Okay, Mel, I see you. Irie, 62. Okay, Art. Okay, Mimi, I see you. Zoe, I see you. KP, thank you for your honesty. Latricia, thank you for your honesty. You're late. Hey, Fritz, how are you? Okay, GH, I got you. Not a problem. All right, love that. There you go. So Clemens, I see you with x over 25. There we go. All right, I bet you cold hard cash that what's holding you back is what is a quotient? Okay, what is that quotient? So, Black Pearl, I got you. So the word quotient, that's division. So that's the result that you get when you do division. So you are dividing two things. Okay, so what are the two things that we're dividing? A number, which could be anything, and 25. So since we like to put our quotients as fractions, you can say x or n, any variable you want, over 25. Okay. All right. So there we go. So now, let's get our extension. Let's get our mystery extensions. Let's see what we have. Okay, maybe I'll have a theme song. All right, 1, 2, or 3. What we got? Well, we're not doing anything. We haven't done anything. Hello, Lynette. All right, so we got 1s, we got 2s, we got 2. Okay, we got a tie with 1 and 3. All right, we got 1s. Okay, we got 3s, 1s, 3s, 1s, 3s, 1s, 3s. My goodness. Oh, which is it? All right, so right now, still with a tie. What's going on? Kenny, I want to be the tiebreaker. All right. Well, Kenny, you can only do it once, man. All right. All right, so we got the 1s and 3s. At least we know 2 is out. All right. All right, you already voted. Oh, one Nad. She's like, ah. Okay, here we go. Back old school. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a pick. By so, let them go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. All right, 1. Okay, so let's go with the extension. Is equal to, ooh, okay, is equal to the number decreased by 7. Ew, fun. Okay, is equal to the number decreased by 7. All right. So, Lamore, I see you. Clement, I see you. Art, I see you, my Mimi. Okay, Mel, I see you. Very nicely done, guys. Zoe, I see you. There's just one thing that's missing. Okay, there's one major thing that's missing. Okay, Latricia, I see you. Hi, Brenda, how are you? I see you. Okay, 1 Nads, I see you, but there's something that's missing. It's key. Okay, Kenny, I see you. Okay, so part that is equal to, so that means we got equals. And what does it equal? The number, so whatever we use for representing the number over here, decreased by, which is subtraction, 7. Okay, there we go, Zoe. That's it. All right, so now, let's see what we're going to get out of this, because I don't know. All right, so we want to, first off, let's get rid of the fraction, because you know how much you guys love fractions, right? So how would I get a fraction? How would I get rid of this fraction? What would I do? Mimi, thank you. Okay? So fractions means division. And the inverse or the opposite of division is multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do to the other. So we're going to multiply both sides by our denominator, which is the 25. Reason why, 25 divided by 25 gives me 1. So we have 1x, or just x, to come down. But over on the right-hand side, we have to distribute. Okay? The right-hand side is how to distribute. So 25 times x gives us our 25x. Now this minus sign is now acting as a negative to the 7. Okay, so that is major. So we have a negative number times a positive number. When the signs are different, that means our result is going to be negative. So now we just have to do 25 times 7. So 5 times 7, that gives me 35. Carry the 3. So 7 times 2 is 14 plus 3 is 17. Okay. So now we have x equals 25x minus 175. What do we need to do next? Because now we got this, but our goal is to solve. What should we do next? Subtract. There we go, G. There we go. So we're going to subtract this 25x because guess what? We got one x on the left-hand side and we got another x on the right-hand side, the equal sign. Now, we need to move it over here. So we need to do the inverse of that 25x. So since it is positive, because remember, this minus sign is acting as a negative for the 175. So we're going to subtract 25x on both sides. So they cancel out to give me 0. Then we have a 1 that's in front of that x. So if I have $1, but I want to spend $25, well, I am short. $24. And then I'm bringing down my negative 175. This is the part that throws a lot of people off. They forget to bring that minus sign or that negative with the 175. Okay. Then we divide. There we go. Then we divide both sides by negative 24. Because what is our goal? We want to get x by itself. So negative 24 divided by negative 24 will give me my 1. And then we have a negative divided by a negative, so that's going to be a positive. So we have a positive 175 over 24. This is ending in 5. This is ending in 4. This is an odd number. This is an even number. And most even numbers are divisible by 2s, by 4s, 6, and 8s, and 0. For numbers that are odds, usually divisible by like 3, by 5, by 7. So the only thing that these two have in common is the divisibility of 1. So unless you have a calculator, that would be like our improper fraction. Okay? Exactly. So if you look at your answer choices and you know that you have fractions, see if you have an improper fraction. If not, if they have it as a mixed number, you're going to have to do the division. Okay? All right? Okay? All right? So, here we go. So, that's all I have for today. If you like these, you're like, oh my gosh, Audrey, I learned something today. Or, you know what? I didn't learn anything. This was just, I don't know. I just wanted something to go in my brain. Well, then that's perfectly fine. Okay? Now, one thing I want to say is if you want the replays, this is where you can go. Okay? Go ahead, because I'm using my phone right now. So you can go here. But if you like the cards that I was using, I actually created those cards and I have them on sale. If you like some of the instruction and you want something that's more step by step, just like how I do things, and maybe you might want to do it I don't know, later in the day, but that's when I'm not on. So you can purchase what I have are my books called Algebra at Your Pace. Notice I named it At Your Pace. So again, I'm keeping up with the whole watching the videos, because what I do is I'll give you a QR code in the very beginning. You scan the QR code and then it will take you to a whole video playlist that will break down all of these concepts. Okay, so this one is dealing with all linear. Now, if you're taking your GED, trust me, all your linear stuff, anything dealing with system of equations, equation on line, slope, graphing equation on line, they're all 4-point questions. And I know those are the ones that you skipped. Hence, that's why you didn't pass the GED. Okay, you can do all the arithmetic, which is great, but if you skip any of the 4-point questions, it's calculated that you're not going to pass. You'll get close to it, but you will not pass it. Okay, so you're going to have to learn these. So I give you a space for you to write down your notes. I give you space for the practice that you also get. Sorry for blinding you. The practice that you also get from the videos. But then I also give you some extra practice problems. All right, and in the very back of it, you get a quiz, so it summarizes everything that's inside this book. But then on the very, very back, I will give you some of the things like a reference page. And most of my reference pages are in color. So you can get the digital copies off of my Stan store. Okay, so that's like the link that is attached to my list. Or you can go on the A, which if you go all the way down to the bottom of my Stan store, okay, you'll be able to get access to how to get it off of the A. I can't say the word. All right, not a problem. So I'm hoping this helps, and if you need more assistance, if anything, tell me before you guys skedaddle. Tell me what test you're taking. If it's the GED, just type a G. That's perfectly fine. Is the ASVAT, type in AV. If it's the Accuplacer, just type in A. If it's the T's test, just type in T. Okay? I'm just kind of curious of what people are trying to go for. If it's just review, type in R. There we go. There we go. Now we got a code. Now we got a little something key. You're probably like, what was it? All right, so I'll make a key next time. Oh, for the electricians? Oh, okay, so you're doing the IBEW, Mimi? All right. Okay, just for review. There you go. Ramona, I see you for review. Zoe, okay, good. All right. ASVAT for GH, okay, I got you. Awesome. Perfect. Yeah, I actually had a couple kids. I shouldn't say kids. They're grown people. They are grown adults. Past that. There's a lot of slope, there's a lot of ratios and fractions that's in the IBEW test, but also solving equations like with the basic algebra that's in there. Okay, tutoring your niece, oh, that's nice. Okay, so GED, yes, I see Sharon. Okay, all right. Okay, high school, okay. Which grade? 9th, 10th, or 11th, or 12th. Climate. Okay. All right, 11th? Okay. All right, so they must be going into Algebra 2 soon. Algebra 2? Okay. Okay, the Accuplacer Black Pearl. All right, let's go. Let's do this. Okay. All right, awesome. So get your skills ready for... especially for factoring, system of equations, that's going to be early on, and then really get to know Pythagorean theorem later on, because you're going to be looking at the unit circle. You're going to be dealing a lot with sine, cosine, and how to get the coordinates from the unit circle and how to apply it. That's going to be second semester. Okay. Need my books? Yeah, these are for like the basic concepts. So I haven't done one for Algebra 2, but if you notice that all those basic skills are hurting our kids, this is the main reason. Welcome to the Learning Tree, Math by Audrey. This is what's happening. And now I'm going to skedaddle. So our foundation is killing us. So adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Okay, let's see if I can get that in there. All right. In order for us to do fractions, we need to know our multiplication. We need to know how to reduce. And same thing with decimals, same thing with percentages. Yes, and the same thing with division. Okay? If you don't understand multiplication, then you're not going to understand its inverse with division. So you are going to have roots, but they're not going to be that strong. So then all of a sudden, when you do grow a tree, you are going to go into algebra, but it's not going to be that strong. But here's the best thing about trees. When you don't have weak roots, you can uproot that tree and put it in a place where you get nutrients, you get support, you're able to get more energy, more light. And those, with practice, you can build up stronger roots. And then you can be able to apply those to algebra. And then you'll be able to apply it to the other types of math. Because if you don't have strong algebra skills, you can't do calculus. You struggle. And every calculus teacher that I've known, not me as a student, but as a colleague, they all say they don't know their algebra. That's why you're not doing well in calculus. This is what freaks you out about calculus. Not because it looks different, it's because your algebra is not strong. So in order for you to get all of that, what type of test you have to take for entry? For engineering, there's a couple of those. It depends on what type of engineering. Yeah, it depends on what type of engineering. So you have to go look that up. Okay? So that's why I come on here and I try to build you up here and for you to understand the basics and then sprinkle in the algebra. Now, I know someone came on here and says, well, what's the point of this? Well, I don't know what you want to do with your life. I have no clue. All right? I am like, you're Adam and Eve to me. I have no idea. I don't know what your life is or what your hopes and your dreams are. But all I know is there's math attached to it. So it's the things that we have, the internet, my document camera, our phones, okay, just being able to come up with the compound to have this laminating sheet, okay, all came from math. And someone took the algebra, someone took the geometry and was able to create the things that we have. The reason why we have little boxes and be able to calculate the holes, how we're able to have boxes for matches to hold on to, how for us to have lip balm, not only what makes the wax, but how much should be filled in here. That's volume. Everyone's saying that's geometry, but in order for you to calculate, you need to get with the algebra. So this is why I teach, okay? Not to say, oh, this is the reason why we have math. Dude, like things didn't just fall out the sky. People are using the calculations. People are using the properties. So I'd rather you say, I've seen this before, versus get thrown into a situation and you say, what the hell is this? I don't want that for you. That's why I don't judge. I try to support you. Okay, so we just have to build up our roots. So in order for me to give you a shortcut on how to do stuff, you got to understand where that shortcut is coming from. All right, so this is what I want to do. Okay, thank you, Mel. Like someone has FE, but then there's another one. I forgot what it was called. It's been a minute. Okay, no problem, Connor. No problem. All right, everyone. So again, if you want to see any of my replays, you can go here. If you want to take a look at my stand store, the link is in my profile. Okay, so go ahead and take a look. Peruse. There's a free math check in there. I only got one person that actually, no, two people that actually sent me the results of the math check. Two. out of thousands of people that have downloaded this thing. Don't just download stuff and collect things like squirrels, okay? Like, I know winter is coming, but you don't need to do that with information. I'd rather you use it. And if you have a question, go ahead and DM me. All right? Yes, it was that one. Thank you. NCEES. There it is. Okay? So, now that you have all this information, you have to make a decision. What is your next step? Is it just going to be tossed aside because you saw a couple cat videos? Or is it going to be, I want to learn from Audrey, or I want to learn more from someone? I don't care if it's me, yes or no. I would love for it to be me. But if it's from someone else, great. But don't just sit and watch videos. Some of you guys said GED. Some of you guys say ASVAT. Some of you guys say Accuplacer. Now we need to put those skills into practice so it can stick. That's why when you sit down and you try to take a test, and all of a sudden you're like, what did Audrey say the other time? I don't remember. Because it was like a flash in the pan. All right? This is why we have to solidify our work. Okay? All right, everyone. Enough of me getting off my soapbox. I will see you guys tomorrow. But if you have any questions, seriously, ask. That's the only way that you're going to get your answer. All right? Even if it's not from me. Ask. Do you know anybody that does dosage calculations? Yes, I do. A blessed RN. That's all she does, and she's awesome at it. Okay? Oh, do you know anybody that knows how to do like basic math for like a 2-year-old? Not a problem. I got my friend Learning with Lynette, and she does learning math using the abacus, so it's more tangible. So now you can actually see, oh, that's why 5 plus 7 or 5 times 7 is 35, because she does a lot with the grouping. Yeah, so any questions that you have that deals with math, I don't need any more sugar daddies. Please, good Lord, man, read a book. I'm okay, all right? Jeez Louise. And it's funny, I haven't had anybody on here with the word daddy. Watch, all of a sudden someone's going to come in here like, hey, Zad Daddy, Dig Daddy, Sugar Daddy, Daddy Daddy, Daddy Squared. Stop, okay? All right, ending. Con, how are you? So have an amazing day. Again, if you want to go to the YT to get the replays, that's where you can go. All right? I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.